What's going on, everybody? Some new details on the Russos. What is their MCU adventure looking like after Secret Wars and the Multiverse Saga? We're going to talk about that. There was a new teaser for Super Mario Galaxy. Galaxy? Sure, why not? We'll go with that. The Running Man reviews are in. Sweeney talked about Christy. Dune Part 3 wraps Alien Earth, getting a season 2, and my exclusive interview with In Your Dreams director Alex Wu. All on today's show, guys. It's me and you. It's our lonesome show. I like these shows, especially because you guys have been asking great questions when I'm by myself. I don't know what that is, but I guess today we're beating 76. But anyway, let's get into it, man. It's the Kristian Harloff Show here today on this Wednesday. I'm ready. You're ready. Amazing. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show here today on Wednesday. It's one of our solo shows. I'm down with it. It's cool. I want to thank you guys. Got a lot of great suggestions on yesterday's show when it came to the Kickstarter. People are really starting to pay attention and give their thoughts and give their feedback as we get closer and closer to some more information. So I thank you. I think you kind of great ideas on the comments yesterday for the show. So for everybody there today, same thing. I'm going to ask some questions when it comes down to it. You guys want to keep us on for a bit? You can do it. We have a bunch of shows or stories rather to talk about. We're going to talk about this Avengers story. I'm so excited for you guys to hear this interview with Alex Wu, the director of In Your Dreams. I mean, this guy is pretty great. And his journey and how he got there through Pixar and Lucasfilm and all this stuff, it's pretty extraordinary. So I think you're going to enjoy, especially, look, if you comment in this video chat about how animation is everything and you don't watch this interview, then don't ever come here ever again, because this is everything you want. This is everything you desired, is this conversation with Alex Wu. So let's start here with this one, because this is a story that is interesting, to say the least. We know that the Russos are back. We know that they're back. So there's new details on what the Russos MCU involvement, the post-Avengers Secret Wars and Multiverse Saga struggles. Here we go. New details have been revealed about how involved the Russos will be with the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Avengers Secret Wars. And we have some additional insights into the Multiverse Saga struggles. Josh Wilding writes, Marvel Studios delivered a masterpiece with Endgame, but recapturing that same magic has been no easy feat since the Infinity Saga ended. Been a lot of great movies and TV shows, but even Kevin Feige has admitted to quantity over quality. With Bob Chapek no longer calling the shots at Disney, Marvel Studios looking back to get back to its former glory. That means less content for fans, as only 3 movies will release in the remainder of the Multiverse Saga. That's Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars. I think most people are happy with that. The Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony, are directing the latter 2 movies, will reportedly stick around post-Secret Wars to help lay foundations of what's expected to be dubbed the Mutant Saga. Cosmic Circus today has shared some insights into what's next for the duo, as well as details on how the Multiverse Saga hasn't exactly played out in the way that the Marvel Studios has hoped when Spider-Man Far From Home concluded the previous era of storytelling 6 years ago. So, as I understand it, Marvel's bringing the Russos along for the ride post-Secret Wars as part of the famous Marvel Parliament, basically just overseeing the general story for the next saga, because they want to avoid the mistakes they made with the Multiverse Saga in trying to branch out many different story points and having multiple open endings without having a clear direction. Like, the main idea of the saga was to basically introduce this idea of the multiverse so Marvel could play around in the sandbox and do things they never really had a chance to do, even if it was just their main established universe. As they wanted to try out new elements and explore new corners of the MCU while still trying to find ways to relate it to the multiverse, ultimately to get to this point where incursions are happening, the main universe and the multiverse is about to end. And of course, introduce cameos of previous heroes here and there. COVID-19 affected those plans. A lot of the eternal discussions pushed for Marvel to drop their content months and even years before they were ready. And it was also a domino effect that really had a catastrophic mess of a story plot where practically less than half of the projects dropped in the last 5 years actually mattered to the overall plot of the Multiverse Saga. In their minds, the Russos, who have been experienced juggling multiple characters in their movies and tying storylines together, would be a good addition to the team. They can provide their input into what works so it can be introduced now versus what can be introduced sometime and so on. A lot to unpack, but it sounds like we can expect the Russos to keep their eye on a far more focused saga built around X-Men. As far as the Multiverse Saga, the pandemic definitely didn't help, and neither did attempting to tell stories in theaters and on streaming at the same time. 2023 strikes were simply problematic, while a shift in moviegoers consume content at home and on streaming ensure that the 1 billion worldwide is no longer the norm for any superhero movie. All well said. All well said. So this to me is something that we've been talking about, and I think already kind of known, right? That the Russos are going to stick around. And I think it makes a lot of sense where when I know you get annoyed with it, I get annoyed with it too. But looking at it in Star Wars, where the problem with the new trilogy was that there was not this what they're talking about. There was no let's just have somebody who's in charge of the overall creative of where this story is going to go from episode 7, episode 9. So we had this whole thing. I mean, Lucas did have a treatment that, but they threw it out. But that's something like that they needed drastically because all three are just they're just different movies. And that's what started to happen within the MCU is that, like they said, there's nothing that really went to some of this plot. They're throwing things around. They didn't really know. The multiverse, we can do fun stuff with it. But what was the fun stuff? They didn't really know. So by having the Russo say, okay, look, we're going to be around for this. We're setting this up for you where we believe that this could go and should go. We want to collaborate with other directors and writers is here. Make sure you introduce here. And like I said, and like I heard, they're really going to focus in on Cyclops and that family line, which I think is smart, and which has obviously benefited them in X-Men 97 and what a lot of people have been looking forward to seeing in the first place. So that to me, I think makes sense. I think you need to have somebody. Look, here's what we're all going to be saying right now. And this is sometimes, and this isn't an announced thing. This is what I brought up yesterday. This isn't an announced thing by Marvel. This is something that someone's scooping and hearing. If it is indeed factual, the one thing that we're all going to be saying right now is, well, let's see how Secret Wars and Doomsday is, because everybody is guilty of the "what did you do for me lately," right? And the Russos have done okay stuff on Netflix, but they're pretty much they've hit everything out of the park when it's come to Marvel. So if they do the same thing with Doomsday and Secret Wars, I don't think there's going to be a Marvel fan on the planet that is going to be like, oh yeah, they shouldn't be doing it. It's going to be the opposite, because if they would have told you in 2019 that this was the story, that the Russos are not going to be directing right after Endgame, and you're lying if you say otherwise. If unless you one of the few people who didn't like Endgame, which is fine, but if you loved Endgame and Endgame came out in 2019, it was over, and then they said, well, Russos aren't going to be directing, but they're going to be ahead of where the story goes within the multiverse. You'd all be very happy because okay, well, those are the guys that set it up, so we're happy with that. So if Secret Wars does indeed introduce the mutants very well, well, then we're going to be on board, right? It makes sense. However, if it doesn't, we're going to be like, well, they didn't really have a lock on these two movies. Why are we entrusting them to the X-Men? So it's going to be tough. It'll absolutely be tough. We'll see. I don't know. And as far as everything else goes, yeah, I mean, I think anybody who had a business, and I can say this as someone who did in especially in the entertainment side of things, everybody was affected by COVID. And some people, I mean, I was talking to somebody yesterday. Some people, their businesses were affected in a positive, where there were things that people needed. But in the entertainment side, a lot of people's businesses were hurt bad. And entertainment for sure, because you couldn't see things there. I think, as they said, they put way too much stuff out. Chapek at the time said, "Oh, we got a great thing. Let's overproduce it," and that was a mistake. And it ultimately gave people too much homework. So now now 3 movies I think is good. I remember they're saying like that 3 movies I think is going to be the norm for Marvel in general, a year, I think, coming out eventually, which could be too much past the Multiverse Saga. It could be too much if it's the X-Men and everything too, because they had earned that 2 or 3 movies when the phase 1, 2, and 3 were happening. We got to a place where like, okay, 2 or 3, you're on. Let's go. You you're pushing it. If you go to 2 and 3 right now with the movies that just are not hitting right now, but Spider-Man is going to deliver, right? We know that. Avengers, depending on how much it costs, it should be a massive profit. You know, now Secret Wars is going to be all relevant on how good Doomsday does, because if it's the reason why Endgame did as well as it did too, because in Infinity War set up, you're like, oh, where's this going? Let's go. Where is it? I can't wait to get back in the theater. That's what Doomsday needs to do. And the Russos have proven they're pretty good at that. So you got those 3 movies within the course of the next year and a half, right? Give or take, that are going to do very, very well. Because I think, maybe it's 2, because I think, and you guys tell me in the comments, I can't remember anymore. I know they moved it around. I know that they moved Doomsday to December of next year. But did they move Secret Wars also, or is Secret Wars still in May of 2027? Is it within 6 months, or is it within a year of each other? It's probably December, so within 2 years, I guess. So that could be interesting. Anyway, I like the idea that the Russos are doing this. I really do. I think it's a smart move to have them, and I think that I think the ego was from Marvel was holding back from it. They should have gotten them involved a long time ago. We don't need them, and you did. You clearly did, because you didn't know who was going to direct the Avengers movies, and then you know, it made sense to go back and get them. So, well, we'll see. We'll see if that was overspending on their part. Anyway, what do you guys make of it? Put your thoughts in there. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you think of the fact the Russos are going to be involved more moving forward? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Should they have gotten somebody else? Or do we need to wait to pass judgment before we see the movies? Put your comments in the live, put your comments in the replay, and put your comments in the Clips channel, as we always tell you. Clips channel is doing pretty well right now, guys. I think we can. I don't know if we'll hit 20,000 by the end of the year, but we're approaching 20 within the next, like, I think 3 or 4 months. We should get to 20,000 on that channel, which is great. The little channel that could. And we have more to discuss. And look, I got a real good shot at beating Roxy and Mike right now. They have over what are they? Look at this. We are, guys, we're crushing right now. They had yesterday 76 questions. Hell yeah, I got 2. What do you think about that? Eat it. Okay. You know, it did very well. Super Mario Brothers. That movie did well. Well, the new trailer came out today, and it hit. People are talking about it. I did a reaction to it. Nintendo, Universal Pictures, and Illumination have premiered the official teaser trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, the sequel to 2023's The Super Mario Brothers movie. The film debuted in April 2023, went on to gross $1.3 billion. Became the second highest grossing film of 2023, the third highest grossing animated film of all time, and the 18th highest grossing film of all time. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Kevin and Michael Richardson. They're all confirmed to be returning and will be a centerpiece of the Mario character's 40th anniversary. In addition, Brie Larson has been confirmed as voice of Rosalina, and Benny Safdie is Bowser Jr. The Super Mario Galaxy game story will serve as the core for the new film story, but surprises for fans everywhere Mario era are in store. Okay, so the same directors, great. Same Brian Tyler handling the score, which will blend musical themes from the game. And then there's a trailer that was released during the Nintendo Direct presentation this morning. I don't know where you guys stand. I know that I hear people and the critics and stuff when I was going to see screenings and stuff, and I was on the opposite page of most of the critics. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked having that kind of nostalgia feel. I played the first Mario Brothers, and you know, Mario Kart was in college and all that stuff too. So, it's just been such a theme, and they, since the '93 movie, they just never really had anything that brought that magic to life. And that movie to me did that, and I liked what they did with it, and my kids liked it, and I like bringing them to the theater to see it. I liked watching it on digital with them. I liked listening to that music. It was just a feel good experience. So when this trailer hit, I was like, this looks like the same thing, which is great. It looks like a continuation. They know what they're doing. They've got a lock on this thing. This is going to make a lot of money. And it's also going to kind of jumpstart the box office in April of next year, because I think it comes out in like April of 2026. And so if you look at when that starts out, and again, I bring that up, April 3rd is when it starts. And then there's I guess the Lee Cronin's the Mummy, and then there's an untitled Disney film on the 17th, and then April 24th is Michael. So April 2026 is going to be a pretty big box office month in general. Both Michael and Super Mario Galaxy movie and whatever that untitled Disney film is, but those two movies, Mario and then it's Michael on April 24th, and then May 1st is The Devil Wears Prada 2, which is an interesting summer movie, but yet should probably do decent. May 15th, Mortal Kombat 2. They liked it enough. They thought it was good enough that they pushed it all the way to May. It's supposed to come out this year. And then May 22nd is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Untitled DC film, if that ever is going to happen on the 29th. But I'll tell you, there's another reason you want to go to Mandalorian and Grogu. From where it sits right now for summertime, it's got a shot to do that 500-600 million. It's got a shot. But we'll see. It's got to be good. But as far as Mario's going to start it off. Remember, before the pandemic, and we used to talk about this too. Now, I know officially summer is not until like June, but the summer movie season traditionally has been the first weekend in May, leading until the end of August. That's the traditional summer movie season. Before the pandemic, April was starting to make a play to say, hey, we want to be included in the summer movie season. And it was Fast and Furious. It was Avengers Infinity War. It was all these different movies. The Disney movies were pushing themselves into the second to last week of April and putting it all the way there. And then pushing into the May, June, July. And it was now instead of May, June, July, and August, it was now 5 months of summer season. That's what was happening. And then once the pandemic hit, and then there was no movies to put out, and then when the box office wasn't coming back to life, when movies started going back to the theater, it really hasn't really recovered to that level of power, the summer movie season, in quite a bit. This year I thought was going to be a big one as far as monetarily, and it wasn't really. There were some that did well, but for the most part, pretty lackluster overall for this year as far as money goes. But I still think that they were catching up from the strike. I think that there's, and I think Avatars and Zootopia is going to put a lot of money back into the box office. But I mean, I've done this a few times over, but I'll do it again. Just next year in general, when you have January 19th, 28 years later is January 16th. Return to Silent Hills on the 23rd. There is whatever K-Pops is. Don't know. February 6th. No, nothing really. So I guess it doesn't really. February 27th is Scream 7, so that one will do pretty damn well. There's a Matt Stone, Trey Parker movie coming out in March, but I think it really, once it starts in like April's one, because it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle in March. Yeah, April really is going to start I think people will be talking in the first 3 months going, oh, it looks like a little tough. Then Super Mario could be the first one actually that hits big and throws some money into this, the way that like Minecraft did. So Super Mario will be the first one, then Michael in April 24th, Devil Wears Prada 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Mandalorian and Grogu, Masters of the Universe, Scary Movie 6, Toy Story 5, Supergirl, Minions 3, Moana live action, The Odyssey, Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's just by the time you get to the end of April. So by that time, Brand New Day, Odyssey, Moana, Minions, Supergirl, and Toy Story will have all hit, and probably hit big. A lot of those. August 7th, you got Paw Patrol, which will probably do pretty damn good. There's a Cliffhanger remake. I forgot about that. I don't know if that's going to do good. I'm curious about Coyote versus Acme because of the story behind it, but I don't know how many people really know about it outside of the people who pay attention to this movie space. September 11th is Clayface, Practical Magic 2, Resident Evil. There's an Inaratu film on October 2nd. The Last Airbender, Legend of Aang, comes out on October 9th. The Social Reckoning, which is, I guess, the soft sequel to the Social Network. Street Fighter on October 16th. Cat in a Hat on November 6th. Hunger Games on November 20th. Narnia, November 26th. December 4th, Violent Night 2. December 11th, Jumanji 3. December 18th is Doomsday. And then the 23rd is Angry Birds. Now, there's still other things and maybe some surprise hits and other things that will be in there. But for the most part, there's some really big movies in there. There's some really big movies that are coming out. So that could be a huge year for movies. Now, the crazy part is that if those movies don't hit and it's disappointing overall, then there's going to be a serious conversation about if the movie industry theater industry is in serious trouble. Because I still think they're catching, like this year was still catching up from the strikes. The year before was still catching up from the pandemic. Things were being pushed. This is the real year, 2026. This with all that content out there and all those movies. We'll see. And I forgot, by the way, and I mentioned Zootopia and Avatar. Wicked's coming out. Those three movies are going to bring some life back to the box office for sure. So, what do you guys think about all of it? About Super Mario? Did you like the trailer? Did you not like the trailer? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know what you think. I'm going to post my Running Man review after this show. I'm going to post it. I shot it. It's Dunsky. And I will add it up on the channel. It'll be there. I did my out of the theater reaction, but let me read what's going on so far with the other critics who've posted the Running Man reviews. They're in. So let's see. The reviews are in, and so far the response to Edgar Wright's new interpretation of Stephen King's Running Man now has been a mixed response. 66 reviews. Film sits at just 62% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 59 out of 100 on Metacritic, putting it firmly in the mixed range and the lowest scoring of Wright's directorial efforts to date. General consensus: film plays it much more seriously and closer to the King novel. Some of it does. Some of it does. I wouldn't be part of that consensus. I'd say some of it does, but the approach doesn't necessarily work for Wright's sensibilities, and overall production has conflicting tones that are jarring. That I agree with 100%. Sampling of reviews. Let's see. Owen Gleiberman. The original was a lumbering Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. You could say that Edgar Wright, the director of New Vision, has made it into a decent Bruce Willis movie. It's perhaps Wright's first feature to feel in a positive way like the work of a director for hire. That's fair. Every flourish and trick here isn't a service of a single creative vision so much as a great rumbling excitement machine. I mean, I agree with that. I think that a lot of that is there's a movie in there that is his, but it doesn't work with the vision of the director for hire. There's a lot of director for hire work plus his style, which is the mixed tone. For all the targets that Edgar Wright hits with the story's political and media satire, he allows the pacing to go slack, turning what should feel like an escalating set of stakes into an episodic series of vignettes. That's Alonzo. It's my buddy. Agree with Alonzo 1,000%. It's a movie that lives up to its heritage, but gets a little tonally caught between the book and its first, more Arnoldy adaptation. It does a few different things pretty well instead of doing one thing really well. I agree with a lot of this so far. So I think everybody is kind of on the same page here with this. $110 million budget for this. I like that. I like it. I mean, you hear 110 million. That's a lot. It's really not for this day with inflated 150s, 200, 250s, 110. Unfortunately, it's just I don't think a lot of people are going to get in there. 17 to 18 million opening weekend, and the reviews could hurt it a little bit. But like I said, I am fully ready for people to come back here on Monday, if any of you are going to see it, and say, you know, I had a fun time with this movie. I don't know what people are talking about. It was fun. Definitely fun. But it doesn't take away from the fact that, like I'm telling you, it's just a bunch of different movies in there. It's like, and the tone and the characters don't earn certain things. There's a lot of questions that you have to ask and go, wait a minute, what? Oh, I guess I'll just ignore that. And then there's other times you're like, oh, that's really cool the way that fit that in there. there's like a really cool movie in there. It just doesn't come to fruition in the way that Edgar Wright usually does. And maybe he just wasn't the right guy for this movie. I think that might be it. I love Edgar Wright, and Baby Driver was fantastic, and Scott Pilgrim and Cornetto. I mean, everything. He's great, but I just don't know if he was the guy for this movie. And I think it's because, like I said yesterday, I've been on this Stephen King kick lately, and maybe not even intentionally. Like I'm watching It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and The Long Walk, and Welcome to Derry. And I really wanted to see, because I mentioned I love the Arnold movie. I love the Arnold movie. But it's an Arnold movie, and whoever said that I think it was on Lieberman, is 100% right. That was just made for Arnold to be, like, let's just kind of give softly what the novel's about. But for the most part, it's gonna be Arnold shooting out one-liners and beating up, gladiators and shit, and that's what we'll do, and it'll make money, and it did. But I wanted to see that kind of darker tone that I saw, like Long Walk, and I was thinking about this, like The Long Walk. I didn't know anything about it. Going into it. And I've seen it twice now. And both times I'm so engaged in the characters, and I'm so engaged with that world, and I'm so engaged with the dialogue and the music and everything. And it was what the director did and how that script kind of came to be based off of that material. And I like that movie so much better than this one. So much better. Now it's a very different tone. Long Walk is not a movie you go to. Like I said, you're not coming out of the movie going, oh, what a fun movie that was. You're going, ooh, wow. I guess it's heavy. This is fun. And there's moments that, like, he really beefs it up. So what are you guys going to do about this? You're going to go see it? You're going to check it out? Or are you going to wait? That's another question. Were you planning on seeing it? And did you say, no, I'm not going to go check this out now. The reviews, I might as well just save my money and wait. I'm very curious to hear what you think. Put your thoughts in there and let me know. How many of you guys love Netflix animation? Because I know that K-pop Demon Hunters really started to set the bar for them, because I've said this. I think right now that they have surpassed Pixar today. Today, not overall, but today. I think they're putting out better quality than Pixar is. And what also made me go, because I like that Fixed movie. I did that movie also. But what really made me go, yeah, their team probably has it a little bit more than the Pixar team currently, is when I saw In Your Dreams, which is coming out Friday. Friday comes out this Friday. I got a chance to see it early. I took the family to go see it, and I also was going to see it because I knew I was going to be able to have a chance to talk to the director, Alex Wu. Now, Alex has some journey, man. He's got some journey. I didn't realize, like, you listen to his story of where he came from, the school that he went to, how he was kind of discovered, working at Lucasfilm, one of his first job, who he helped create during the Clone Wars era, then went off to do all this other stuff in Pixar and the movies he worked on, to then start his own shit, his own company, and then be able to get this movie made in the way that he did. It's pretty fascinating. So let me tell you about Alex Wu. I hope you enjoy, and then we'll see you on the other side. Today's show, it's sponsored by Raycon. I go everywhere with these. Look, customized. They got a New York logo on them too. I go everywhere with these because it's Raycon's anniversary right now, and what a better way to celebrate them than a deal with these everyday earbud classics. They're 20% off, which is great, and it is the perfect time to get your hand on these. They're reliable, they're super comfy, and easy to take anywhere. You'll see why they've become a fan favorite since day one. The everyday earbuds classics, they're loaded with upgrades. You got active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity. You can pair with two devices at once, and it's an ergonomic fit that actually stays put no matter what you're doing. I love these things. I wear them everywhere. The gym, if I'm in the city, I'm on the train, I'm again doing laundry. I'm listening with these. They customize this one. I got a Yankee logo. You can do. They have different colors. You can choose a whole bunch of them. You see that there. 3 million customers already love Raycon. I told Ming about them. He got them immediately, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. You're going to know you're happy with them within an hour. So if you don't love them, returns are easy. You have nothing to lose. So I promise you, I promise you that when you get these, you're going. Ming did it immediately. He said, "Oh my God, I love these things. They're so great. They're great." So you're going to get these. You're going to love these. I had Ming wrote them immediately. These things are awesome. I said, "Yeah, they're amazing." You go to buyraycon.com/Christian. You'll get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. You will. You're going to say, "Hey, you're right. These are amazing." I love Raycon. Sign up for them today. I promise they're great. I always love talking to you guys about Cash App, and you've been smart. You guys have been signing up. Really smart. Because you don't want to fall for scams. It happens to everybody. You just feel, oh man, it happened to me one time. And I remember just going, and I actually left my house to head to a convenience store because they asked me to, and I realized halfway through, oh, what am I doing? And I fell for it. And people fall for this stuff all the time. So the good news about Cash App is when you get the card, not only do you get an access to a ton of perks and benefits like early access to nationwide concert pre-sales or discounts on popular brands, but you have an extra security with the power to instantly lock or unlock your card right from your phone in just one tap. So if something like really shady is going on and it pops up on the card, Cash App got your back, automatically declines the purchase, sends you, say, hey, listen, something's going on here. Is this you? So you can rest assured knowing that your account balance is protected 24/7 by fraud monitoring. Spend with peace of mind today. You got to order a Cash App card in the app, or you just go to cash.app/card. Now, for a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 off if they use the code SECURE10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners, prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, discounts and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosure. Cash App. Okay, so I have a friend who's going to be very happy to hear me say the following thing. For a long time, Disney was like the premier player in the game when it comes to animation. I believe Netflix is starting to take a run at that title because not only did K-pop Demon Hunters come out and just kind of rock the animation world. Now, and I think what they're doing very well is they're able to do things for, whether it's for teens, whether it's for adults, whether it's for families. I think the next movie that I'm about to talk to you guys about is that and more. The movie's called In Your Dreams. It comes out on November 14th. And I have the privilege of talking to the director, writer of the film, Alex Wu. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? It's great to see you.
It's great to see you too. I had the pleasure of seeing this movie last night, and I told you with my family. I brought my 13-year-old daughter. I brought my 7-year-old daughter. I brought my wife, who she is, as I told you, not normally an animation fan.
Yeah.
All of them left the movie loving it. It hit the goal. Tell me, because I said this to you last night, and I said it to my friend afterwards. The reason why you can tell this movie's going to work in general. You are so passionate about this movie.
Oh, thanks.
You are. You can just tell. I saw it when you were talking. Sometimes you see a director has a job, and sometimes the director is the project.
Yeah.
You're this project. What went into it, brother?
I mean, so much. I started this film in 2017.
Yeah. Wow.
So it'll be like basically 9 years from when we conceived of the idea to when it launches. So I joke, it's like human babies take 9 months. Animated babies take 9 years.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it was definitely a passion project. I mean, it was my first movie. So I wanted to make sure that I put everything I could into it. Cause I always sort of approach my work with this idea that I might not get another chance to do it.
Sure.
You know,
especially in this business.
Yeah, especially in this business. So, I took the privilege of being able to make, movies very, very seriously, and just put everything I could into making it the best film possible.
It's such a personal story because you can tell, and then especially hearing some of the stuff on the Q&A afterwards. But so you grew up in Minnesota, yeah?
I did, yeah.
So in this parts, and you see it in this movie, because I was like, because there's parts, I'm like, well, why is it Minnesota? Oh, okay, that makes sense. And it's a sibling story, and you'll be happy. I didn't tell you this because I wanted to wait until we did it on air. So my 13-year-old and my 7, almost 8-year-old, they consistently, as siblings do, fight, bicker. The 13-year-old's like, oh, you're in my way all the time. Very similar to what happens in the movie. Throughout this movie, my little one would go over to the oldest, sit in her lap and they were hugging.
Oh,
and it brought out a lot of that. And my oldest goes, "That's us."
Oh, that makes my heart just warm. It's music to my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, very much so. This movie is about these two siblings and the power of sibling love and power of sibling relationships. One of my good friends who saw the movie said, this is just a really circuitous and expensive way for you to tell your brother that you love him.
Yeah, that hit me when you said that last night. That hit, yeah.
And it's true. I think, I'm 2 years older than my brother.
Okay.
I'm the eldest sibling. My brother's the younger one. So Stevie's very much based off of me. I'm sort of the obnoxious, like overbearing, perfectionistic older sibling. My brother's like the really charming, laid back, really chill younger sibling. Those personality difference can like rub up against each other, especially when you're young, because you don't have like the ability to like suppress your emotions.
Yeah. Did you guys share a room?
We did share a room. Yeah. That idea of like the tape down the middle of the room was straight from my life. Yeah. When I was a kid, my brother, I mean, it's cute now, but when he was a kid, like he would always sneak over to my side of the bed and then sleep and cuddle with me. And it's cute now when I think about it, but at the time I found it so annoying. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Go in your own bed. And that's why I put the line down, and that's where it came from for the
Which
film.
is great. There's so much that you take from your life. And as you said, like you want to do this project that this is the one. They're giving me a shot here. I'm directing my first movie. That it's like, from when I talk to people, I always make sure that like, I'm going to share things about myself with you so you feel comfortable too. So why am I telling you everything? So I tell you things in the same way that you do this, and you're like, okay, you're going to give me this shot. I'm going to dump all the stuff that's been in here for me that I need to get out. As you said, there's a love letter to your brother. It really is. I mean, it is. Like, and hearing you say it out loud, you're like, yeah, totally. He hasn't seen it yet, right?
He hasn't. So it'll be interesting to see him watch it. I think, we're both two like middle-aged Asian men, which are, we like are not great at expressing our emotions. So I imagine he's going to be like, cool.
But the character of Elliot is great.
Yeah. Thanks.
He's great. He's like, and it's funny because when you were talking last time, there's so many, and we'll get into like the many kind of pop culture references that are spread throughout, and I got them. I got the majority of them. But Elliot, like when I was waiting for you to go, well, Elliot's named after Elliot in E.T. because I was like, of course he is. Of course he is. Yeah. But your brother, I would assume, is going to be, whether he shows you it or not, like, Elliot's cool, man.
Yeah, I know.
Elliot, he's got such a great personality because he could come across as just this stereotypical kind of like, okay, we get it, he's annoying.
I know.
But he shows up in the same way. Do you remember that 80s movie, Just One of the Guys?
No, I don't.
Oh, you got to see it. It's about as 80s as you get, where you have, once again, William Zabka playing the bully. But the brother is very similar to where he's like obnoxious, getting in the way, but then comes through when it's time.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in this movie. And their dynamic is everything. If it doesn't work, the movie doesn't work.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, that's, a lot of credit to my brother. He's a very charming guy.
Yeah.
He was always the most popular kid and still is one of the most popular people I know. And he's, Elliot's like that. He's just so charming. Right. Obnoxious, but charming.
It's like, it does. It's like, there's parts of it just drive you nuts, right? But then you're like, but that's what makes him him.
Yeah.
And that's like, and even though we both, because I get into that place too, right? Where you're like, oh, if I had those qualities, I'd do this, but then it wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this because clearly you're doing all right for yourself.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my brother's doing all right for himself too. I think a big part of this movie was about learning to appreciate the messiness and the sort of alternative approach to life that my brother takes. And he was never the most studious kid. I was much more the studious one, and I always felt like I gave him so much crap for it. I was like, you got to be a better student. You got to like be a good kid, be a good son for mom and dad. But he found his own way to it, and my parents are so proud of him. And I'm so proud of him. He's a restaurateur now, and he's opening his fourth restaurant in London right now. So
I love the way you talk about your family. I really do. I really do. You can tell there's a strong lock there too. But like, another reference that I don't know if this was intentional or not, but with the topic of families being together,
Yeah.
wanting your family to stay together. That potential, like, oh, what happens if they don't? I got to get my family to be strong again. It kind of reminded me of Miss Doubtfire.
Yeah. That was a huge influence.
Okay.
Huge influence.
Okay. Because what I always thought was so phenomenal about that movie is, and this isn't giving you anything about your movie at all, but like with Mrs. Doubtfire in general, it ends and they ain't together.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, it shows you that, because there was this image back then anyway that, oh, well, a happy family means that's the way it should be. It's like, no, you can still be okay, but you just got to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
And you very much tackle that thread. That's kind of the premise of it. Is this kid Stevie's trying to save
her family.
Yeah. And that came from, again, personal experience?
Yeah. Yeah. So, my parents are going to kill me for telling the story, but I got to be honest. So when I was, I think maybe 6 or 7 years old, I woke up one morning and my mom, like, she had her bags packed and she was at the front door of our house, and me and my brother were like, what's going on? And she sort of gently had to tell us, like, oh, I'm going to go away for a little bit. I don't know. I have to figure things out for our family.
Yeah.
And so, when you're a kid, first of all, sometimes you think, oh, did I do something wrong? And like, can I fix this? And I remember watching her pull out of the driveway and driving away. And I remember feeling at that moment that the only thing I wanted was to try and find a way to get her back home and to keep our family together. And I would have done anything to make that happen. But there's nothing I could do as a kid. Yeah. And so that's really where this story came from. It's such a potent and like relatable and rootable desire for a character.
Yeah.
And so we thought, oh, that's like a great, that's a great engine for a character. And that's something that audiences, I think, will really grasp onto and root for her in the entire journey.
Oh, they will. And that's where I told you. So my wife, who we both come from families of divorce.
Yeah.
And so she was same thing. She's like, I related to that. Yeah. And she related to that very much. So like my wife and I, very strong.
Yeah.
Of course but we have fights and everything too. And like, there's been those moments where I see my kids looking and like this, we always try to make sure we don't fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if it does happen, you see it in the eyes and like how that moment, as you're watching through, we're not sitting here today.
Yeah.
In the too. So I always say to people too, like there are moments in your life that at the times they feel like it's the worst thing.
Yep.
But when you retrospect it, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That moment kind of led me to this, which led her to this, which led him to this. And then here we are today.
100%, man.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's really, what I tried to do with the film. I don't want to spoil it, but I really, there's a really sort of a positive charge, and rightly so, in American culture about power of dreams and the positivity of dreams. And I think there's a place for that. Of course, dreams are great and it's fantastic to pursue your dreams. But I think sometimes when they become the ultimate thing in your life, it can be a little bit dangerous. That's when things can, start falling apart.
Right.
And on the other side of the equation, nightmares, I think, things that are challenging in our lives, oftentimes, we think of those that we want to avoid them at all costs, at all costs. And, of course we should, but when I look back at my life, some of the most transformative experiences for me have been when I've encountered what seemed to be a nightmare at the time.
Right.
But it shaped who I was and it made me stronger. And it gave me the strength to deal with uncertainty, deal with the unknown, deal with challenges. Yeah. And so, I kind of wanted to sort of flip the charge on both of those ideas.
Especially when you're a kid, though, you don't know, right? You think that moment
is the end.
That's the end of it. That's everything.
Yeah,
and it's
totally.
like, no, it's not. It shapes you, turns you into who you are. And it takes, I don't even know how long, it wasn't too long ago when I really started to have those kind of revelations of, wait, if that didn't happen in my life, I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have went there. I'm fascinated with time and space and dreams and things. So when you had the dream side of it, that's ultimately where this is. And you mentioned it last night that you really wanted to tackle a full animated feature inside the dream world, which because it hadn't been. I just watched Inception the other day.
So good.
It's such a great movie. But I was watching, but
this to say that these are two kids who are exploring this world, and you set up these different kind of cool rules where they got to find the Sandman. They got to find the Sandman who's going to make your dreams come true. And there is that Wizard of Oz kind of feel to it. You can get that, but the dreams, I'm fascinated by dreams in general. I have them all the time, and I feel like, because I'm not even close to smart enough to figure out anything about quantum physics and things of that nature, but I want to, right?
Yeah.
Like I always say, what if dreams are a parallel universe and multiverses and things like we don't know. You said it last night. Like we still don't really know what they are.
Yeah.
So being able to take these two kids and stick them in the dream world, that there's got to be a lot of fun with that, but there's got to be a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
What do you think those were?
Well, the biggest challenge for a movie about the dream world is establishing the rules of the dream world.
Right.
Because, one of the great things about the dream world and a movie in the dream world is that anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if anything can happen, nothing means anything, right? So you got to establish rules. But how do you do that in a way that's not boring and expositional and like really clunky and didactic?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the biggest challenge I think that we faced with this movie is how do you establish the rules of this world and how it works? How do you go from the real world into the dream world, and how does the dream world affect the real world so that you actually have stakes for what happens in the dream world?
Right. So what I'd like to actually jump back in time if we can, because your career started with, you obviously went to New York for school.
Yeah, I was at NYU. Yeah,
you were at NYU, and then you got a job right out of NYU into Pixar.
No. So at NYU, I my senior thesis film won the Student Academy Award, and that really helped sort of put me on the map.
Okay.
And one of the producers at Lucasfilm Animation saw the short, and he liked it, and he felt like, oh, the sensibilities, were kind of aligned with George's sensibilities. So yeah, I know, it's a great compliment. So I flew out to Northern California. I met with him.
Wait, hold on. Wait. So you're NYU, and you're what, like 22 years old?
Yeah, I was 22.
22 years old. You do it. You have this short. You do this. Obviously, you put, again, a lot of time, effort into it. And then, hey, by the way, George Lucas wants you to do more for him. Like, you got to be like, it was jumping on clouds.
Yeah, it was surreal. It was very surreal.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to make of it.
What does that job entail? So you get there. How long did you work for Lucasfilm?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
So they had a Lucasfilm Animation at that point was a very small division within Lucasfilm, because George has like a bunch of different companies under this sort of umbrella, corporate umbrella. So he's got ILM, he's got LucasArts, he's got the George Lucas Educational Foundation, and then Lucasfilm Animation was one small division. And he wanted to get into feature animation. And so they were developing features and original ideas for the feature film format. And so, this producer, it was Dan Rounds, and Jim Morse was also running the division. They basically said, do you have an idea for a feature film? Because we love your short. And I didn't really have one, but I just made one up on the spot. Oh, yeah? And they liked it.
Were you a big Star Wars guy kind of growing up?
Yeah. Not huge. I was more, Star Wars came out in 78, 77?
77.
Yeah. I was born in 81, so I missed the first one. I watched Empire, but I was
VHS.
Yeah, I was really young.
Yeah, sure.
But I loved it. So
was it a Star Wars thing that you came up with for the feature?
No. It was like a totally, original property.
Got it.
Not connected to the Star Wars universe at all. And then I was there with maybe 3 other directors that had original projects. And so they basically optioned the idea. I moved out to California. We were working at Skywalker Ranch, which was like unbelievable. I don't know if you've ever been.
I've been to Lucasfilm, but not the ranch. No.
You got to go. It's like, it's just it's like the 8th wonder of the world. It's so beautiful.
It's great. Yeah.
So we were working in a small office there, and then about 6 or 7 months in, we all pitched our projects to George, and he didn't like any of them. No. So the idea when you're in development is to pitch something to get a green light, right? So you can actually make the movie. Yeah. So he didn't want to green light anything. So everyone ended up getting laid off.
Oh, wow.
Except for me. Oh, because I was fresh out of school. I was so cheap. They were like, yeah, we can keep this guy, right? Yeah. So, and then that's when they turned the division into a television animation studio. So that's when they produced Clone Wars. Right. So they brought in Dave Filoni.
Okay. You were there during that time.
Yeah. Okay. So I was there when Dave Filoni joined the company. Wow. and we were developing Clone Wars, the animated series.
Yeah.
I was helping him with a lot of the design work.
Wow.
So like
any particular characters?
I mean, I designed Anakin and Count Dooku.
Did you really? That's
and Obi-Wan and all those characters. Ahsoka was Dave's design.
Okay.
But all the other characters, you know, I had a huge hand in designing that.
That's amazing. That's
just super fun.
Badge of honor there.
It was a
great.
huge badge of honor.
That's
so
great, man.
that was super fun. But my heart was really in the feature space.
Sure.
I really wanted to get into the feature space. And so I applied to Pixar, and I got in, and the first film I worked on was Ratatouille, which was unbelievable because it's like the best film they've made.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that career path already.
I know. I was very, very fortunate.
Well, no, but it also shows, I think, the reason what we're talking about here today is passion, love, talent, you know, and it's like you're going, I want to do this, you make a short. The short gets noticed because you put the love and time into it. I want to do this. You make the designs for Anakin, other things too. You work in collaborative with some great people. You want to move on to feature. You work on Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Ratatouille. I mean, that's great stuff, man, in general. So you're working on quite a few, and you worked on like Finding Dory.
Yeah, so Ratatouille was my first, then WALL-E, which was also a phenomenal movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then I worked on Cars 2, The Good Dinosaur. Finding Dory was my last film that I was at Pixar like full time. And I was a story lead on that. And then I kind of got the itch after Finding Dory to try and do something on my own because, like I said, I'd sort of been in a support role at Pixar for 10 years, helping these directors, these amazing directors, make their films and achieve their vision. And it was fantastic. I learned so much, but at some point you want to take those tools and try and apply it yourself.
Sure.
And you know, there just wasn't opportunities for me to direct.
There was never a conversation of you trying to direct or anything over there. It wasn't.
Not really. Yeah. I think, you know, there weren't very many spots to direct at Pixar at that time.
Right.
And, you know, all the slots had been taken and they were all spoken for. And so and then at around 2013, so I left in 2016, 2013, House of Cards came out.
Okay.
You remember this, right? Sure. And we were just talking earlier about how it's so amazing what Netflix did. They were a DVD mailing company, and now they've become like basically the juggernaut of Hollywood.
It's like the ultimate media story.
I mean,
it really is.
It's unbelievable what they've done. And so when House of Cards came out in 2013, I was a longtime Netflix subscriber because obviously I'm like a film buff, so it was you know, an incredible product. I just got movies all the time that I could watch. House of Cards came out, and everybody was so blown away that this DVD mailing company made this original series that was so freaking good.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking at the time, like, they are going to change the industry in a huge, huge way. And whenever there's change, there's opportunity, right? And so I thought, like, maybe it's a good time to try and strike out on my own. And
so you started looking around at that point.
Yeah. Okay. And so, but you know, all the other animation studios at the time weren't doing anything that was that exciting to me. Pixar was still the best, I think, game in town.
Yeah. Did you look into DreamWorks or anything too, or not?
Not really. Yeah, I wasn't that excited about some of the stuff that they were doing. So I kind of wanted to do something on my own. Okay. And so that's why we left and started Cuckoo Studios.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So you start your own studio, which again, how does that come about? Because that's, again, kind of a daunting task, right? Like starting your own thing, getting into a market where there's like only a few games in town, and you're like, well, we want to be part of that game.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you, like, who do you approach? Because some people are able to self-finance. Some people are able to have friends, people they worked with. How does your...
Yeah, it wasn't self-financed. I wish I could self-finance. No, it was actually a family friend of mine. And actually my brother's a big part of this.
Oh, really?
So, I have a family friend who owns a toy company. Okay. It's called VTech. Okay. They're like a Hong Kong-based company. So my parents are from Hong Kong.
You lived there a little while.
I lived there. I went to high school in Hong Kong. Okay. My parents still live there. My brother still lives there. And my brother, he started a running group in Hong Kong, and he became really good friends with the daughter of the guy who owns and started VTech.
Okay. Because
we got along so well, and I think he found my work really interesting. He wanted to take some of his toys and then turn them into television shows.
That's cool.
And so I was like, he asked me if I would come work for him. And I was like, I don't want to work for a toy company. Yeah. You know, I'm fine working at Pixar, like doing my own thing. And so, but he was so insistent. And he said, look, I really want to find a way to work together. And I just didn't know how I would do it. And my brother was like, well, why don't you start a company and you can work with them as a client, but then you can do your own thing.
You buried the lead on this in the beginning. Your brother had a lot to do with all this.
I mean,
too. You guys are like a team. I love this.
Yeah, we are a good team.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. So then I told, my friend, I was like, look, I can work with you, but I would want to start a studio, and then we could work together. But then I want to be able to focus on the things that I'm really passionate about. And he's like, great. Well, tell me, what you need to do it. And I was like, well, I need some startup capital. He's like, give me a number. And so I gave him a number and he gave us a check. And that's how I started the company.
So I'm telling you that I'm going to Vegas with you.
Yeah.
from the start, leading into Lucas, leading into Pixar, leading to this. I mean, your instincts, that's the other thing is like this. Let's talk about that. Instincts, right? Because I always tell people, because people ask certain questions, like whether it's starting a YouTube channel or starting podcasts and things too. And I said, you've got to trust your instincts. Your instincts, sometimes you're going to go, shit.
Yeah.
But you got to follow your gut.
Yeah.
Do you find that to always be
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think especially as an artist, but even just, I think as a human being, like learning to listen to your own voice is like a lifelong, journey. And the sooner you can do it, the sooner you can hone that intuition, the better off you're going to be. Because I think your gut, your conscience, I think it knows who you are before you even do.
That's why I mentioned, I introduced you to my daughter last night. She's my oldest and she's trying to find herself. I didn't know who I was until I was probably like 19, 20. And she's still trying to find certain things out. She draws all the time. And I said to you, listen, she's trying to figure it out. And she said that, and so last night I introduced my daughter to Alex and he was very kind, talked to her for a little bit. And she draws all of the time. She draws all the time. And
she's good too. You showed me some of her drawings.
Thank you. Thank you. I said to tell him, she's like, I want to be a game developer. I'm like, I know you do, but you tell me, I do it as a hobby. I'm like, that's all you do. But we're talking about, you got to follow your gut and your instinct. And I'm never going to say that's what you should do. She's got to find it.
Yeah.
But you're 100% right. It's about that intuition of like for me, it was, as we were talking off air, it was like stand-up comedy. It's like my dad introduced me to stand-up comedy. My good friend Brian, like the first time I saw George Carlin when I was younger, and it's like I just grabbed, Brian. Bill Hicks, like people I just gravitated towards, and like started to go. I was a class clown, and like it was my way of going. Oh, I like doing that. I like to do that. I like the way that feels when I hear someone laugh after I say something, maybe even when I shouldn't be saying it, in the middle of math class. And you got to follow that road. And I think if you really look for it, it takes you there.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I think, the intuition is the strongest gift that an artist has. And I mean, just a human being has,
Agreed.
I think, it's much more wise than your brain is.
It's true. It's just something though too, that it's like you and I both, I think, found kind of the places that we were supposed to be. Right. Mm-hmm. And I always wonder, like, depending on whether you think Michael Jordan, LeBron are the best players in the world, they found where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I believe somewhere in the world, at one point in time, the greatest basketball player, the greatest director, the greatest comedian, never picked up the microphone, never picked up the basketball, never did that because they said, I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah. It's like, well, if they would have found it if they were supposed to be. I don't know if that's always true. I think sometimes it's like you talked about your positive influences in your brother, your family, the things we have these. My dad, right? Those things that we find, and so we are lucky. Yeah, we truly are. But intuition, luck, love.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, to me, love is like the antidote to fear.
Yeah.
And that's actually, it's a lot about what this movie is about.
And that's why I was so excited to hear like the conversations you have with your brother who helped you with your company. And then, so you go and you get the company going, the company's moving, you're starting these projects. So let's kind of go right to the Netflix aspect. So you have this idea.
Yeah.
And now you've got to go from someone who was working in Pixar, but not directing feature films. It is not easy to convince somebody to say, hey, let me direct a feature film for you. I know you guys have, as they say, FU money. But it's still an investment. You got to invest in something. Yeah. How do you get them to say, okay, this is the guy. We're going to give you a first time go?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was sort of a combination of things. So our first production as a studio was this preschool show called Go Go Corey Carson. I don't know if you've seen it.
I know. Yeah.
But that was actually the show that we partnered with VTech on, because they have a toy line called Go Go Smart Wheels, and they wanted to turn that into a TV show. I didn't think Go Go Smart Wheels was like that great of a title. And so we basically created a character that didn't exist in their world in that IP, and then built a show around it. And it, first of all, it was first hard to sell that show to Netflix or to anybody, because it was, despite what people think about Hollywood being, just purely sort of money driven, I think a lot of the executives are the best ones. They have a lot of creative and artistic integrity. They don't want to make something that's going to feel like a commercial.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but because this show was based off of a toy line, we had to work really hard to show them, hey, this has a lot of artistic merit.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we put a really extensive pitch together. We boarded up an entire episode. We actually did a 1-minute proof of concept to execute what the final look of the episode would be, to show them this is the quality of the storytelling that you're going to get if you bet on us. They gave us the green light. We produced 6 seasons of the show and a bunch of holiday specials, and we ended up winning 3 Emmys, got nominated for 8. And so that, I think, proved to Netflix that we had what it took to do really great content at the highest level.
Yeah.
And that's when their feature division was ramping up. So Greg Taylor and Melissa Cobb founded the Netflix Animation Feature Division. Right. And so they were looking for feature ideas. And Dominique Bizet, who was my executive on the show, said, hey, you should really talk to this guy, Alex, and the guys at Cuckoo, because they have done a fantastic job with us on our show.
So that gets you in the door.
So that got us in the door. And we, in that first year of our company, we sort of just spent, that first year dreaming up ideas of TV shows and movies that we wanted to see that we felt like nobody else was making. And one of those ideas was In Your Dreams. So we pitched In Your Dreams to Greg and Melissa. And it was, again, like a really extensive pitch. Yeah. We beat boarded the whole movie.
Yeah, this is your life that you're pretty much.
Yeah. And like you said, we didn't have any credits to our name, especially in the feature space. I mean, yes, I had been a story artist and a story lead at Pixar, but it's not the same as directing.
No, that'll get you a job at the company, but not necessarily directing one of the movies.
Exactly. Right. So I felt the onus was on us to prove to them that we could direct and that we were really fantastic storytellers. And so the way to do that is in the pitch. So we put these really extensive pitches together. And by the end of the pitch, everybody in the room was crying.
That's great.
And so they basically, they bought it right at like the week after, and they gave us money to write the script. We spent about a year writing the script, and then we got the green light in 2020.
So the funny thing that I'm glad you brought that up, that they were crying in the room, because something that I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, that for people who don't know, the name of your company is Cuckoo. That comes from...
it's a Chinese word for cry.
For cry.
Yeah, so ku in Chinese means cry.
Right.
And so cuckoo it's sort of inspired by the Greek theater masks, right? So you have tragedy and comedy is like the foundation of drama. And that was always really inspiring to me, because like those are the types of stories that resonate with me. Those are the best stories, when you have both like tragedy and comedy and pathos and drama, and you're laughing, you're crying tears of laughter, you're crying tears of joy. And so those are the stories we wanted to tell. So that's where the name Cuckoo came from.
And it delivers in this movie, because that's what we always, my kids and I will always have the bat of, is Mama going to cry here?
Yeah.
Right? And so I asked my little one, I said, do you think Mama's going to cry? And so she goes, yeah. So I look, and it was hilarious, because I caught my little one like 3 or 4 times going like this, looking at me, and she looks at me, and it was, again, not spoiling it, but towards the end, my wife is crying, and I look over and I said, are you crying? And my wife goes, of course. And my little one goes like this. Yeah. But it was a nice feeling to everything that you get rewarded in this.
Yeah.
I mean, you really do. So you get this movie. What's the experience like as you're working though with, because the pressure now, yes, you do this pitch, you get everybody crying in the room, you got your job, you're excited, and you get to make your passion project. Yeah. But all the weight in the world's got to be on your shoulders now.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. You just have to, shoulder up and like
just do it.
Just do it.
But the year is when you pitch it is what, 2018, 2019?
We pitched it 2019. 19.
Okay, so the weight gets a lot heavier once 2020 hits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the first year was really just writing the script.
Right.
And that was super fun. I wrote it with my co-director, Eric Benson, actually wrote the first draft.
Okay.
And he did a fantastic job. And then we just built off of that. And it was such a solid foundation to build off of.
Yeah.
And then we actually got the green light, I think, after the first draft or maybe after the second draft. And then we started production in 2020, 2 months before the pandemic, which was crazy.
Yeah. Do you ever get worried during that time? Because a lot of people lost productions, a lot of people lost things. And people are cutting costs. Layoffs are happening left and right. Do you ever get worried at that point? Like,
of course.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were very lucky because, I mean, especially when you're with the streaming company during that time, actually streaming, the stock went up. Everybody was excited about streaming because nobody could go to the theaters anymore. So all the consumer behavior started to change and shift at that point. COVID, everybody basically says it accelerated the change in consumer behavior for audiences. And so Netflix was actually growing during the pandemic because they needed more content because they actually could absorb a lot of the movies that were going to go to theaters. They didn't have an outlet anymore, so they ended up going with Netflix. So they go to Disney streaming or Paramount Plus.
It did shift a lot too, and I wonder as a filmmaker. So this is something I'm glad we got into too, because on my show every day on our live show we talk about like the impact of streaming and how media has changed. When you and I were kids, like going to the theater was like, you didn't even necessarily know what was coming out. Like, we're doing movies.
You just do it.
What's playing? Oh, that sounds cool. Let's go see that. That doesn't really happen anymore because you literally can watch anything you want on TV.
At any time.
You don't have those little shitbox TVs anymore. Like real TVs.
Yeah.
And so as a filmmaker though, because you hear two different sides of it. You hear people who are going, look, I get an opportunity to show like on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Millions of people are going to watch my movie. I have an opportunity, and I believe you don't have to say this, and I don't want you to say this movie is and should be nominated for an animation award. I mean, it is phenomenal, and it should be nominated. That was a different thing back when, because you have the theatrical windows and things of that nature. And so, as a filmmaker, I need people to see my movie in theater. Not necessarily anymore because I reach so many homes. Where do you land on as a director, like the film experience? Yeah. The theater experience rather.
Yeah. I mean, I love both.
Yeah.
I think we grew up in the same, generation. I love that big screen communal experience of going to the movies. But I think, times have changed and people aren't going to the theaters as much. And so you still want to find a way to get your stories across to people.
Right.
The other great thing about streaming is that you get to reach international audiences in a way that you couldn't before with theatrical.
That's right.
And so that has been really exciting, for me, not just as a filmmaker, but also as a consumer, as an audience member. Like I get to watch content from Korea, from, all different parts of the world that I would have normally never have had access to, or the only way to get access to them was like, there was so many obstacles and hurdles that I would have to jump over. I have to find the content, find the theater that's playing it, because especially international content, it used to be just really hard to find international movies. So that has been the amazing thing about, I think, streaming. I think like Squid Games, for example, is like the #1 most watched TV show on Netflix. And it's a, Korean language, Korean produced, and K-pop Demon Hunters.
Demon Hunter, Demon Slayer, like all of them, like they're 100%. Like but Demon Hunters, that to me, you've got to be at that point when you're making your movie, and that because no one, that's a perfect example of a movie that if that movie comes out theatrically with no streaming attached to it. Maybe it does well. Yeah. Maybe it's not the phenomenon it is today. There's no way. But like as a Netflix team member at that point, and with a movie upcoming, you've got to be like, yes, when this thing pops, right?
Oh man, I'm so happy for them.
Of course.
I keep telling Maggie Kang that like South Korea should give her the key to the country. I think she's probably done more for the gross domestic product of South Korea than a lot of large corporations.
Yeah.
I think I read an article that like travel to South Korea has increased and tourism to South Korea has increased because of K-pop Demon Hunters.
It's huge. It's huge. Again, something that my kids are excited. And when I told them, I said, the movie we're going to see the same studio that did. Yeah. They're like, let's go. Like they're because it now carries weight. And and I believe that your film will do the same thing. The studio that did this, the studio that did this. So let's get back into the film and talk about the cast.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times, and I always, when it comes to animation, like there are times when you can put in, unknown actors, unknown actresses.
Yeah.
And it's about the performance.
Yeah.
And it really is. And you do that in this movie, but you also couple it with known actors. Let's talk about Kristen Miliani.
Yeah.
We were talking about her off air. I mean, when did you guys sign her up? Was this before or after Penguin had?
Before. So,
okay.
I mean, I have been a fan of hers since, I don't know if you know this show called The Venture Brothers.
No.
So it's a show. It's no longer on air, but it was a show on Adult Swim. It was actually the first show that I worked on when I was still in college. It was my first job in animation, and this guy Jackson Public that's a screen name. Chris McCulloch is the creator, and Doc Hammer. They created the show together. It's such a brilliant show. It's so funny, and Kristen does. She's done voices for multiple characters in that show. And so that was my first introduction to her as an actress. And I just remember thinking, oh, this person is really good.
Really good.
And then she did Once, the Broadway version of Once, and she killed it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know she can sing like nobody's business.
Yeah,
she did a cover. I think she did a cover album of Bon Iver's.
Okay.
I can't remember which album, but she's just a phenomenal singer. So she's just like, I keep saying that she's like an EGOT level talent, and now she's got her Emmy. She won a Grammy. Hopefully, we can win her an Oscar for Best Original Song for our movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've just been a huge fan of hers, and I just have realized how talented she was just from the very beginning, from my first introduction to her.
It's again, another great talent to have, is a skill to have, to notice, okay, we talked about this on off air. We were talking about how there are times that actors actually don't get those roles that really shines the moments that we know that they're capable of. Clearly you saw that in her. Now everybody's
sees
seen that now. And then, so another reason that my little one wanted to see, Netflix had sent, so the character in this, who's kind of like your Olaf. Baloney Tony. And voiced by the great Craig Roberts.
Oh, man. Genius. Talk about stand-up comedy.
Oh, he's genius. He's genius. And he's really, really, really funny guy. Is he the choice right away, or you get a list of names going, oh, wait.
Yeah, we had a bunch of names. And we had to do, what we do is we put up like an image of the character, and then we just like put different clips from some of these actors that are in contention against the character to see how the voice pairs with the design of the character and what they look like. And we had a couple that were, strong contenders. But once we heard Craig's voice, it was kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is totally right. And I've been a huge fan of his since like Hot Tub Time Machine. And I mean, obviously he's like brilliant in The Office. Yeah. But what I also love about him, I mean, we don't use his musical talent in this movie, but the family is a family of musicians, like mom and dad, and they had a band together. And so I wanted somebody with that connection to music as well. And his stand-up, he does. He does a lot of piano playing, and he incorporates music into his comedy.
That he just did the other day was where they were like clapping along with him.
Yeah,
but he's like, I said, use your feet.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great.
Yeah, so he just. He delivered beyond our expectations. Every time we got him in the room, he would improv so much, and those are usually the takes that we would use because he just elevated the material so much.
It's great that a director can do that too, right? There's a lot sometimes you're like, no, that's the way it needs to be. It's a man, but they don't realize sometimes like, no, if you trust in the people that you had trusted in the first place to bring these characters alive, they're going to give you some magic.
Yeah.
And it seems like that kind of came along. But I'm sure for you, the most personal thing, you're like, okay, we really have got to find the right Stevie and Elliot here, because that's me and my
they're the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they carry us through the whole film.
Yeah.
That was, it was challenging. We auditioned a lot of actors for Stevie and Elliot. For Stevie, once again, it was kind of like with Craig. Like once we heard Jolie's performance and her audition, it was kind of obvious. Yeah. And then when I met her, I mean, it was just over Zoom. Personality-wise, she's so much like Stevie. I mean, she was, I think, 15 when she was auditioning. She's an only child, but only children are often very similar to elder siblings. She's very much like, she's very smart. She's very mature beyond her years. She's definitely a perfectionist. She's a type A personality, and that's exactly who Stevie is. So,
and also an NYU student.
Yes. Now she's an NYU student, which is crazy. So she's in the same program that I was in 25 years ago. So she was, once we heard her and I met her, I was like, this is our Stevie. And we gave her the role right away. And then Elliot, you haven't met him yet, but Elias Jansen, this guy is so talented because his personality in real life is nothing like Elliot's. He's very soft-spoken. Yeah. He's very like demure, very like, actually he's very mature for his age. But when he needs to act and turn on that childhood boyish charm, he can do it like that. Yeah. And he was just, so brilliant and so much. I mean, so many people tell me that Elliot is their favorite character in the movie because he's so lovable and charming.
Well, he's designed that way too. He's designed that way to kind of bring it all together. I mean, both Elliot and Stevie, they really like, it's like Yoda in Empire. It doesn't work. And the movie doesn't work. It works. So, all right, this movie again, it's going to do what people are hoping it does as far as emotionally. It does exactly what your company name wants it to do.
Thanks, yeah.
So now you're going to go through this journey, obviously, you're going to do the press, you're going to talk to people about it, you're going to share the passion to it. Have you even thought about what you want to do next? Have you even thought about, I mean, I'm sure there's ideas and projects that you got lined up.
Yeah. I have another original feature that I'm very excited about. That I think is the project I'd want to work on next. I can't say too much about it, but
just premiere it in New York, all right?
I will. Yeah. But the script, we have the script that we wrote. Do you know who Michael McCullers is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Brilliant comedy writer, animation writer. Yeah. So we were really fortunate to work with him on this script, and he wrote beautiful script, and it does the same thing. It gives you that you're laughing, like it's just hilarious, but then it's also got so much heart to it. So it really captures sort of what we try to do as a company and as a studio. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing. I'm
looking forward to seeing it. And I thank you so much for having us at the screening last night. I'm glad we got a chance to see it early. Netflix is the new game in town when it comes to animation. You can really tell. So Alex, thanks once again.
Thanks, Kristian. It's a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you anytime. Make sure that you check this movie out again, November 14th, In Your Dreams. Alex Wu, ladies and gentlemen, the man himself. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kristian.
I'll tell you, it's already Christmas time for me. I had word that Butcher Box was back, baby. Oh, I love Butcher Box. So good, because I know there's a lot of people out there, when you look at your freezer, it looks like a crime scene of forgotten leftovers. Mine was the same way too, man. Butcher Box, the way that I'm eating, the way I've been telling you guys I've been eating, they got responsibly sourced proteins and they ship them right to your door. There's no mystery meat. There's no sketchy sourcing, just better options at your fingertips. If you're serious about fueling your body with the best, you got to look no further, man. Butcher Box, it's got clean, high quality protein without the junk. I love them. Butcher Box delivers over 100 premium protein choices and they come straight to your door. It includes 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. Sign me up. Nearly a decade, Butcher Box has led the industry with meat and seafood that's antibiotic-free. For me right now, look, I love seafood, but for me, I'm just on a chicken and beef kick right now. And they got it, and it's so good. I love throwing it on the grill, but you don't have to do that. It's really great. You're going to love it. Every box, it ships free always and includes member-only perks. It's got recipe inspirations, got tips and exclusive deals. You make the most out of it. So as an exclusive offer, our listeners are going to get free protein in every box for a year. Plus, you're going to get $20 off your first box, but you have to go to butcherbox.com/Christian. If you go to butcherbox.com/Christian, you get a limited time offer and free shipping always. Butcherbox.com/Christian. You have to use our link. That way they know that we sent you, and they say, hey, this guy wasn't lying. He does love us, and his listeners love him too. Happy to have you guys. Happy to really have Alex Wu on this show. And man, I loved speaking with him. He was great. He really was great. And you know, like I said, to me, my passion is always to have conversations with people and good people and try to inspire people. There are some dopey people sometimes. There's some dopey people who, you know, when it comes to stuff like this, and they're always asking questions about being inspired and wanting to start stuff, and then, oh, I don't know who it is, I'm not going to listen. You're not paying attention because you're going to be a sheep. You're going to be a sheep when you start to hear the name. Oh, now I want to listen to what they say because other people are listening to them. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not everybody has to listen. You're not into interviews. You go, okay, I'll come back for the news stories. But just realize that people are people, and you could sit down and have a conversation with someone at a bar, restaurant, coffee shop, and be like, oh, I didn't even know that person. I started talking to them, and wow, I'm inspired today. I'm going to do something else. Open your mind a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Just open your minds. In Your Dreams, though, check it out, guys. It's coming out on Friday, and I'm excited for it. All right. So, hey, man, and there's the other thing I saw. There's somebody who was in the comment section was like, I came here for the live stream. Okay, well, you can keep me on for the live stream, but it's 15 questions. So it could be a short live stream, which is fine. But that's how it goes. So we're going to read these questions out. You want to stay longer? Ask me some questions. We'll figure it out. If not, we'll be back here tomorrow. First one is AH become a new YouTube member. I love that. Thank you for becoming a member. Good time to be a member today. Greenie from Oz. McFeely, Endgame, Winter Soldier writer, and Waldron writers are writing Doomsday. I think we're in good hands, folks. I'm with you. What percentage of the film do you think Robert Downey Jr. rocks the Doom mask? I hope it's 70 mask 30. For the first one, Doomsday, I'm going to say 90% mask. 90% mask, 10% face. That's what I'm going to say. And I told you, I already kind of heard some of that too. And now I want to clarify something too, because people were, and I know where Snyder comes from, and what happens to him sometimes too, man. People were saying, oh, the first thing they were saying is Kristian Harloff says that in Doomsday and in Secret Wars, Scott Summers is going to be featured. Like, no, in the New Mutant Saga, that's where they're leaning on in that, not in these movies. And then they said, he says no mask whatsoever, or sorry, no face. Robert Downey Jr. will not show his face in the whole movie. I said, I didn't say that. I said the movie would be heavily featured with the mask. Now you're probably going to see him a few times, but it's heavily featured in the mask. I don't know about Secret Wars, but in this one, again, watch the misquotes sometimes. It happens. I know it happens. 17 questions. Can we make a huge comeback here? We shall see. We shall see, as Barnaby says. It is now 17 questions as we get to the next one. Thank you again to Greenie from Oz on that one. Okay. Keep on moving down the line. Moving on the road. That was definitely not even close to the song. Johnny Patriza, I am taking my 6-year-old son to his first concert in December to see All Time Low. Do you remember what your first concert was? Yeah, I was older. I remember my first concert. I think I talked about this was like Def Leppard and Bryan Adams or something. But yes, Madison Square Garden. I believe that was my first concert ever, which was, again, I was older. But my oldest, her first was Rod Stewart. I think she was like 6 or 7. Dancing Dog 60, the Russos, and my little one hasn't gone yet, so we're gonna want to take her. She really wants to see Taylor Swift, but my God, I gotta give a kidney to go see her. Dancing Dog 60, the Russos and MCU are like Shaq and Kobe. winners. So far, hard to argue with that. But so far, yes, absolutely true. 17 questions. Moving on. Here's the next one. Lily Yankee. Solo show support. Thank you, Lily Yankee. Sure hope the Russos haven't lost their Marvel sauce. Nothing to add, and yet to the great Kickstarter ideas thus far. Can't wait. There's been some really good ideas, man. And let's start with the Russos. Russos, let's hope that they haven't lost it. We don't know yet. It's been a while. They're also, the other thing though that has to be taken into account, that they were given a lot to work with leading into Captain America Winter Soldier. Here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this, go. Now they had to, it was a different story from the first movie, and they had more time periods to play, but what everything was building to, they had to say, here, we have all this stuff that we're working on now, go. And then there's a little bit more that they were able to lead up to and do more. So they had more room to play, as where now there wasn't really anything that has come before that you really need so much, except the acknowledgement of the multiverse. So, and other little things too. Thunderbolt stuff, Fantastic Four. The last few movies have set things up more so than any of the stuff that came before it. Like, I want to see Shang-Chi, but if you don't, it won't hurt the movie. But I hope he's in it, but it won't hurt it. Yeah. Okay. Dancing Dog 60. Kristian, have you ever seen the horror movie Teeth? Yes, about the woman who has teeth in her hoo-ha. It's biting satire, hilarious scenes. Yeah. It was one of the. We don't have it on. I think we were on current TV when we were reviewing it. But when did it come out? It must have come out. I'll tell you. If you tell me in the comments, I bet you that movie came out in either late 2007 or before October of 2008. That's my guess. And the reason why is because the YouTube channel Schmoes Know was not a thing yet. And I believe that we reviewed it on current TV, but we did review it a long, long time ago. So, all right. Let's see. Now, 21 questions. Okay. You guys are keeping me on the air. I dig it. And please, let's do the same thing we did last week, where, as I told you, I am relying on all of you to help me design this Kickstarter. I'm relying on you, because I need to know, like I said, like, even if every single person here today that's watching live on the replay put in like that, we're adding up tiers. And like I said, again, I understand, like when you say 25, 50, whatever, you say, well, someone said disaster. And I wish I had the person's name. I want to give props to them, because they were awesome. They said, hey, do you think 25 might be too much for people? I said, well, taking consideration that the bear cost 1.1 million to make. I said, we're not shooting for 1.1, but taking consideration that what we're going to do is include people on an actual television pilot, being involved in the writer's room, in the casting. Like, you can essentially go to film school and you're paying $25 for it during that time. He said, that makes sense. He's like, I understand when you clarify it like that. It's all about clarification. You can't expect people to just understand. Like, I would never be arrogant enough to go, yeah, that's what it is. Deal with it, fools. Like, no. Listen, this is why. I understand your question. Your question is valid, but here's why. And then the person goes, oh, it's actually a deal. That's what you got to do. You got to let people know. Seattle KO. Get to the chopper. I don't know if I can tell the story, but Makuga sent me a text yesterday about something Arnold related that was hilarious. And it was really fun. I just it's his story, so I don't want to tell it. Johnny Patrizia, rewards idea might be a sign still from the pilot. I love that. If people are digging that, and I think that's once we get, again, as I clarified last week, if you weren't on the stream, our goal is going to be here, right? This is our goal, and if we hit this goal, that means we make the show. Now, obviously, we want to overperform and get to here, because let's say there's a DP on there that we really want. But if we hit here, we probably can't afford that DP, but we can still make the show. If we hit here, then maybe also not only get that DP, if we hit here, we can get, so-and-so that we have on the list to play that person. Well, we can't offer them what they would even consider, because we hit this. But if we hit this, we can offer them the role, and they might take it because it's their rate. But like I said, there's here. This is make the show. That's just, we're gonna make the show. That's we're going to make the show at a different level, if that makes sense. But we just got to get here. So whatever that might be, sign stuff from the pilot. But imagine we get, let's say we get here and we get that person, a few people that we really want, the show that was on the list that we didn't even think was attainable, but you guys make it happen. Who wouldn't want a signed pilot still from all that? And even just in general, be great. Dancing Dog 60. If you were a Paramount, would you reboot Star Trek with the new generation characters or the Kirk crew again, or new futuristic crew set beyond Picard event? Picard event or even? I am not the right person to ask about Star Trek. I'm just not. I just don't get it. I never really have gotten it. And the only things that I like are the 3 movies in the Star Trek ones that JJ did, and then the last one Beyond. And I know if you're a hardcore, I feel like how Roxy does. You know, Roxy talks about Star Wars when she's like, I'm just a kind of casual fan that like people talk about Star Wars and all these things that they want. I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. It's I'm not as invested. That's how I am with Star Trek. So I don't know. I would be the worst person. If you hired me to run Star Trek, then you should be fired, because I know nothing about Star Trek. So that's just I wouldn't really know what to do. I have the wrong answer. I'd say you have to focus on Kirk, I guess. Right? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't know. I'm sorry. Aaron Ambrose. Have you seen Mugen Train by now? Early teaser thoughts. Will you interview Vecna again before season 5 of Stranger Things? Absolutely love the one you did. Thank you. You know, I want to reach out to his people because I really liked him. He was a good interview, a good conversation rather. I like talking to him. He was a cool dude, chill dude. So I don't want to say no. I'd like to, have a conversation with him in person. That'd be amazing if that's the case. But as far as Mugen Train, yeah, Winston and I watched it on Monday. Thoughts? It's awesome. We're gonna post it on Saturday once it's done and it's edited. So people have been asking for that one. I feel like that one's gonna do the best out of all the Demon Slayer stuff we did. I feel like that one's gonna do the best. The other ones have just eaten dog shit, as the kids say in France. Karam Potts, I appreciate all that you do. Thank you. I hope that whenever I can make it to New York, it'll be one of your stand-up shows. Loving the It reactions. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have the latest It one come out, the Welcome to Derry, and then It Chapter 2. It's funny, It Chapter 1 kind of started off slow as far as views and people catching it, but now more and more people are checking it out. But I will be doing more of that stuff for sure. I really am excited because I've started. My daughter is now obsessed with Welcome to Derry. She loves it. It's all she talks about. She loves the show. So it's become like our thing now. We watch it together as well after I watch it. As far as stand-up goes, I actually just spoke to Mark about that. We might be doing a show somewhere in Long Island, and it was funny because my friend reached out to me and she asked me if we were doing a show, and she kind of like got it moving. So Mark and I are actually in discussion about doing a show in New York. I'll let people know for sure when we do it. Absolutely, 100%. The other thing is what people were talking about is part of the Kickstarter tier, which is, and I can't remember who it was, and I apologize, but had brought up the great idea about having access to when, or if we make the show, that when we have a premiere party, it gives you access to that premiere party, which would be great too. Okay, so thank you guys so much. All right, Ralph. No Sam's reaction to 7 and Shutter Island then? No, not necessarily. I think that right now we have, for her next one, she's got Wicked coming out. That's the next one. Then I think we're going to do Del Toro's Frankenstein, because I haven't seen it either. So we're going to do that one. And then maybe we do 7 and Shutter Island. Maybe we do those two. That's what Luke, if you're listening, maybe we put those on the list for November, because December is going to be crazy. Once we launch the Kickstarter, we're going to do a ton of stuff. So, but 7 and Shutter Island are definitely, she hasn't seen either one. So that would be great to do. Those are great reactions for her. She'll lose her mind in 7 for sure. Both of them probably. And I haven't seen Shutter Island in quite a while. Wiley Todd, what's up, bud? Edgar Wright is my favorite director because of his touch with needle drops. Does Running Man have that at least? P.S. Eddie Murphy doc is out on Netflix. I have to see it. And you know, I didn't pay attention enough to it. Maybe so. As far as the needle drop, if you're paying attention to it, you might know. And I didn't pay attention to it in the past. So I don't know if he does. I'm going to tell you no, but you can come back and call me a liar after you see it. As far as Eddie Murphy doc goes, I definitely want to see that. But Edgar Wright is great. That's why I was bummed, I think, because I was expecting so much. And I think that there was such a great thing that they said he was a director for hire, but it's like, it's two movies. There's the director for hire movie, and then there's the Edgar Wright movie, and then you combine them, and it's like, this doesn't work. I wonder though if you're going to feel differently, Wiley, especially if you're a fan. It's almost like, you know, some people when you go to see like Doctor Strange, right? Multiverse of Madness. Sam Raimi fans love that movie. They love him. They love that movie. I do not, because I think the people who aren't big Raimi heads thought it was just fine. But I don't know if that's the same case with this. Curious to find out. 28 questions as we're moving on down the line. Can we get that victory again here this week, guys? What do you think? I want to see if everybody puts in one question here for the remainder of it. Put in a question. If you all put in a question right now, not only will we break the record, you guys can ask me whatever the hell you want. I'll stay on for a little bit. I don't have to be off until 2:30 my time, because Steph and I are going to do a reaction to Killer of Killers, which I've never really seen. I saw like the first vignette. That was it. So it's kind of like our first one. No, I shouldn't have dropped the interview separately. No, because then you don't click on it and he doesn't get the love users. Stop that. Don't tell me how to do it. I should not have done it separately. So you could just, it doesn't, no, I wouldn't do that. Makes no sense. The Little Yankee, or I wouldn't have had a show, or there would be no show today. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There'd be no show today. You're on the show and we're talking, we're having a conversation now. Stop that. Stop it. That's what Wednesday is. That's what we play. We play on Wednesday, and I talk to people. I could have did that with Famke Janssen last week, and I probably should have, but I didn't. Little Yankee, great interview, Christian. Go Pal. Concur, great interview. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Go Pal. I finished Amsterdam Empire. They stuck the landing. Yeah, it's solid, man. It's solid. She's so good. She's so good. Tara Ortiz. Let's see. Great interview. Thanks for putting this film on my radar. Tara, it's really good. It's solid. It's a really good animated film. I absolutely loved it. And I think you will too. And thank you, Tara. It's very kind of you to say. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Next, we have 31. We're building. Tara Ortiz, 50 characters are not enough. That's fair. You got, but I heard what you said. Ralph, Nolan rewatch made me miss Tom Hardy in good movies. What was the last one he was in? What was the last movie he was in? I mean, Venom, I guess, right? I'd like to see him in something pretty great. I'd like to see, I'm with you. I think he needs to be something pretty solid. He's just such a good actor. Revenant was pretty damn good too. I hadn't seen that in a while. Go Pal. I saw Chris Cornell twice in 03 with Audioslave. It's absolutely criminal that Soundgarden wasn't inducted into Rock and Hall of Fame until now. But at least it happened. You're not wrong, but at least it happened. So there you go. Mr. Nerd Fanatic, would you do a live show for a premiere for Pilot? So, like, I think what you mean is at the premiere, we actually do a live show at the premiere, like a live podcast. Is that what you mean? I don't know, because I don't know if, I mean, it's weird because what the show is essentially about is you could potentially do that, but I don't know if we would do it at the premiere. At the premiere, I'd probably want to just relax and hang out and talk to people and especially meet the people who helped back it, you know? So I don't know if I would do a live show. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but I don't know if I would do a live show. Ralph Harloff, watch one battle with Sam. Also potential, if not maybe Ming, because it's just a matter of who's going to have. It's a matter of who's going to have the time. So we'll see. And Ralph also says, you have to finish Eddington. The last 45 minutes are insane, bloody bonkers. Also, did you finish Die My Love? Now, yeah, last night what did I do last night? I was working here. I was in the office until I was doing, what the hell did we watch last night? We watched Wicked. Sam and I watched Wicked. It's going to be up on Friday. So we watched Wicked. She had never seen it before. So it's a long movie. It's like 2:40. So I didn't get out of here in time. Then I had to go get my dog some food. I didn't get home until 8:30. Hung out with my oldest for a little bit. And, I had to walk the dog, do other stuff. By the time it was 10 o'clock, I was exhausted. I'm going to sleep. So I went to bed. I need to watch shit. So I'll probably watch some stuff. I really need to watch stuff. No, Makuga did not meet Arnold. People are asking that. So, okay, let's see. What's next? I'm trying to, let's see. I'm trying to see what else. Hold on a second. Okay. Next. Apologize. Thank you, Ralph. You rule. 38 so far, guys. 38. Amazing. Everybody ask me. Somebody put in, like, I want to hear what you think. Or like, you know what I want to hear from? I want to hear somebody right now who at this moment is probably doesn't want to help with the backing of the pilot, or isn't interested. I want to hear from them, and I want to hear from them saying, probably not going to, but I'll tell you, if you did this, there's a possibility, because that would intrigue me. I'd be intrigued. That's what I want to hear. I got to hear from everybody. I got to hear from everybody to go, oh, I didn't even think about that. Matthew Garrett, Taylor Sheridan, Star Trek. We could have had it all. Was that a thing that was gonna actually be a thing, Garrett? I don't know. Trey Porter. Just watched a new Eddie Murphy documentary on Netflix. It was really great watch. He had me dying laughing the whole time. He's forever hilarious. He really is. I'd love to see it. I'll be honest. I remember hearing about it, but I haven't until you guys just told me it was on. I totally forgot that it was coming out. So I'm glad that you told me. Matthew Garrett. So Gunn is doing more non-Batman WW Wonder Woman content. We're watching one of the biggest Hollywood weird fumbles of all time before our eyes. Malpractice. Not yet. I mean, I'm with you that I don't think that the crime show with Jimmy Olsen should be the next thing. I'm with you on that. But I think, again, Matt, you're spinning around in the chair, letting it rip, because you can't. You're part of the other team. That there's two teams, and I'm watching from over here, watching both teams, and you're on that side saying everything that he does. It doesn't matter if he puts out $1 billion movie, you're going to say it's crap and you hate it, right? And then it doesn't matter if he loses $80 million. On a movie. Oh, it was good. It was great. It did great. See, you're on that side though, man. Unfortunately, it's just so I can't take that comment too serious about the biggest fumbles. You don't know that yet. It could be. I don't disagree with that. It absolutely could be. If this Peacemaker to me was a fumble, season 2, by going there, you should have just left it alone. So that was a fumble. But the reports of 150 million that Superman made, and they're still making another one. They're still going forward. And as I said yesterday, there could be a show here, this crime show, that actually shows you more of what the DCU actually is, and you're introducing new characters inside of this investigation place. And it's not, if it's solely focused on Jimmy Olsen, as great as I thought Skylar was, who cares? Fumble's going to be, if they continue to make movies not leading to the big three, and they start eating shit, you could be a big fumble. But right now, not yet. Shay Markel, support. Thank you, Shay. Man. 43. It's hilarious finding out that A's favorite TV show is ridiculousness. I don't know. What is ridiculousness? Do I not? Oh my God. I'm telling you, I probably know what it is, and then I don't know what it is. Let's see. Ralph. I want to see Tarantino, Adam Driver, Kerry Russell, Rambo movie. Kurt Russell. Kerry Russell. Very different movie. Kurt Russell, Rambo movie. Okay. Me too. Is that who was supposed to be in that remake of the book? Is that the cast that was supposed to be there? Go, pal. I think Dan alluded to needle drops in his review. Okay, makes sense. Like I said, I'm look. Sometimes detail goes right over my head. Certain things like that. Like sometimes I'm real locked in on certain things, and I bring up little things that nobody else notices, and then when are you bringing that up? But the needle drop stuff, until you brought it up, now I'll probably hear it every time I see it. But like, you're talking to a guy that one time looked at his. There was something that was hanging up in my place, and I said to my wife, "Oh, that's great. When'd you put that up? That's great." She said, "About 5 years ago." Eclipse, when it comes to the Kickstarter tier, can you share what ideas are already in consideration? I'm not sure what hasn't already been proposed. That's also fair. I mean, like right now, consideration are signed posters, dailies from, the set, being involved in the casting process, letting people know, lists, seeing versions of the script. I don't know if I can say this. I'm going to say it. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. We have a casting director on board, which is I'm very excited about. And being involved in that process and seeing how that works. Talking and having conversations with the director, getting access that you would never be able to have. Producer updates on what's happening, videos from the set itself, watching people come in and be there, certain things, just access to the production of television. Like this is how confident I am that once we get this thing done, shot, edited, the people we have on board have the access to get it to people. Like sometimes you're like, oh, we hope we can get it to Netflix. We hope we can get it to Apple. We hope we can it's going to get there. It is going to get there. The question is whether or not they like it is another question, but it is going to get there once it's done. So we shall see. So that's what's currently available. It's watching that actual process. I think what happens sometimes, and rightfully so, and this I'm not taking away at all from, because I'll tell you, if we didn't get this director and this producer involved, then what I'm about to say is probably where we would have been. We probably would have made this at a lower scale, put it on YouTube, and hope that it caught fire, right? And we wanted to make it. We made it. We're in a different ball game right now. That if we can get here and the idea of let's get them all involved, like it's past film school, you pay so much money to be involved in this, whatever the tier might be, you're going to have access that you just wouldn't have. And we don't think a lot of Kickstarters have done that. Haskell. Yo, man, Sturger's coming to New York City for a comedy show on Saturday. I don't know when she's getting here, but any chance you can get her in studio? I didn't know she was coming in. She got to text me. Tweet at her. Tell her to text me. Depends on when she's coming in. I don't know. Because, Friday, actually, which is cool, we're recording an episode with Chris Van Vliet. Not for me, but for Sarah. They're going to have a conversation, which is pretty great. So I'd love to see Jen. Harv's K. Predator Killer of Killers has an epilogue scene before the main credits roll at the end. Be sure not to miss that. Thank you for letting me know. That's good to know. We're going to be watching that pretty soon. Go Pal. Hardy was great as the twin gangsters in Legend. Yeah, you know what? I didn't love Legend. I didn't love it. I loved that. I did like that Capone movie. I think I'm the only person that did, though. Joshua Gonzalez saw Christy yesterday. Sweeney became Christy completely. Totally. Do you think the box office will affect award chances? Unfortunately, I think maybe so. And I also think there's some politics involved that probably will not help her, which it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And politics should have nothing to do with consideration on awards, on again, both sides of it. But it does. I don't care what anybody says. It does. And people don't vote for other people because look at that article that they had. People didn't want to see. There was those Academy of voters that were anonymous that said they wouldn't see movies because they didn't like that person. That's why it's a flawed system. I do think she should be nominated. She 100% should be nominated, and I think that there will be some stuff that hurts. Joey Pedros, what up, Christian? No, you said Christian. I said what's up to you. Is there a PR email or something I can send some Kickstarter promo ideas to? Would love to help any way I can. I always at schmoescontact@gmail.com. That's the best one. That one is the one that we always say. So yeah. So please do that, Joe. I'd love to get your ideas. Legend MM600. Dude, you said today's show was off yesterday. What did I say? I said it was off? No, I didn't say that. And I said we were going to have Alex. I said I was going to run the Alex Wu thing today. I said last week that I was taking off. And if that's what you're saying, I'm not sure. 47, guys. 47. We just need, how many more? We need just about 30 to beat Mike and Roxy. Let's do it. Shay. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? There you go. Dancing Dog 60. Is Glenn Powell the new Garrett Hedlund? Look, potentially. Look, I like seeing a Garrett Hedlund when he pops up now, right? It's the same thing. Look, Garrett Hedlund, and not even now. I always liked him, but he falls into the same categories like the Sam Worthingtons and what's his face, Jai Courtney's and all of them. It's not their fault. People want inside the system want to build and manufacture movie stars all the time based off of talent. All those guys that I just mentioned, extremely talented, but they get forced down our throats. Like they haven't earned it yet. They're not movie stars yet. Like Glenn Powell to me is really solid, and he's good in Running Man. I don't know if he's a movie star yet. I don't know if he's earned the leading man guy yet. I don't know if he has. I like him. I don't mind seeing him. You know, it's I'm not one of these people that they don't watch this guy. I like him. And Garrett Hedlund said, look, when Garrett Hedlund showed up in Tulsa King, I'm like, nice, Garrett Hedlund. And I missed him in the new Tron movie. Wished he was in that. So I don't know. This is a great comment, by the way. Maybe your usual sponsors like some advertisement in your project. Well, we're definitely 100%. That's kind of the goal there, Mike. The goal is, because like I said, we're aiming for this, right? In order to get here, I can't just rely on that we're going to overperform. I can't. I just can't. We've got to get here to make a show. When we get here somehow, we've got to be able to go, okay, we hit here, and now let's get that DP, let's get that cast, let's get everything that we want to get, let's get the locations we want, let's get everything that we want. You better bet your ass I'm going to reach out to sponsors and say it. And say, hey, what if we fit you in? I mean, the guy's a podcaster in the show, so it could work. So we'll see. 47. Okay, let's see. Matthew Garrett. I like Superman. Okay, fair enough. Soul Stylist Jukebox. Any chance of a Sackhoff cameo in your pilot? Potentially. Initially, I said, I don't know if there's a role for her yet, and I wouldn't want to just give her like, I would want to reach out to her and say, hey, look, she's amazing. How do you not want her in your stuff? There was a new character in one of the new drafts that people are actually really responding to. Roxy really responded to it. Mike responded to it. The director, producer, associate producer, everyone really responded to it. Like, this character kind of popped off the page. Smaller role for the first one, but is going to ultimately have a really big role. So I would absolutely, she could do it. Whether or not she does, I don't know. But so chance, yes, chance. Ralph, not interested in the pilot, Harloff, but if you got Scorsese directing, I'd be down. Also, yes, you would love Shutter Island on second watch. So will Sam. That's Ralph. I love you to death, but that's not what I mean. You're gonna get Scorsese to direct. That's how you're gonna. Come on. Saying what do you think in general? And by the way, I already have a director and a great director, and not that Scorsese isn't great, but you know what I'm saying. Give me something real, Ralph. Aiden, what's up, Aiden? Aiden, when we spoke last time on our I think when we came into the member stream, you had mentioned one thing, and I was like, and I remembered after we were I think, Aiden, are you a big scores guy? Are you a big music person? Because that would then remind me of something. But if not, whatever. A great conversation with Aiden on the live chat. Aiden says Batman, no money. Wonder Woman, no Amazon. Superman, no Kens. Great stuff so far. Also, ButcherBox rules. Been using them for 4 months. So good. If you're still using them, if you want to get a little deal there, Aiden, use that code, man. Because it's I told my wife again that they were back on board, and she's pumped. It's delicious. Paige, idea: the top tier donors get to go to dinner with you and the director. That's an I think what's funny about the page. I just did a screenshot of this. So the director mentioned something like that, and maybe that adds to it. So I'm putting that in the ideas thing. So that's also something that's potential. That's a great idea. Great idea. So 49, 50. I'm just kidding. Idea: when you raise enough money, you can, if you have enough to pay for a trip for the two for the premiere. Also, something that I think has been discussed and should be discussed even more so, maybe like at a certain. I mean, there's only so many of those you can do, right? Maybe have to be like, it's almost like a Patreon, like exclusive kind of tier. Not Patreon, but you know what I mean, like an exclusive tier that only X amount of people can sign up for, because there's only so much that we can do. But that's again, great ideas. Mr. Nerd Fanatic. Oh no, I didn't know you were going to do an in-person premiere for the pilot. I'll be there. Also, shout out Princess for the great Discord she started. I hear the Discord's great. Everyone raves about it. I'm between Discord, Monday, Slack, and all that. I'm so bad at that stuff. Like but I love it. How many people are in it? How many people are in it? Curious. It scares me. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we make the show, we'd want to do an in-person premiere for sure. That we would be able to, meet the backers and stuff, and that would be great. So yeah, absolutely. Go pal, man! I hate political text. I text stop back to everyone that I get, regardless whether I support the candidate. I just had 8 new ones to unsubscribe. Yeah, they're bad. They're bad. There's Eclipse again. What's up? Can there be a tier where donators are given a personal shout out at the premiere and or their names in the credits? Yeah, 100%. And it's a great, absolutely 100%. And it's a great suggestion. I just screenshot that one as well, Eclipse. But yes, absolutely. Okay. And then that's the other things. By the way, someone mentioned music, right? So Wiley Todd is an example of someone who knows music so well. So one of the things that we could do, what I realize again, using this as an example, I'm going to use this. So you're going to get tired of it, but I'm going to use this so people, because I think people understand more when I say it like this. Again, when we're going here and we're trying to aim here to make the show, if we hit here and just here, we make the show. But what it probably means is the music that I have selected, we're probably not going to be able to get, because you're going to have to, like, if you're going to have to sacrifice, well, I'd rather have this than the song. We have to probably come up with another song in order to do that. However, overperform and get here. It's like, hey, we have this now. Could we spend that to get that song if it elevates the scene? Yeah, we can. Does it start to make a little bit more sense now when I say it that way? I hope. Chef Brooklyn, thoughts about hollering at Kevin Smith? I mean, not yet. And I say this lovingly. I don't need to right now. Like I'm telling you, like I haven't, because and it's more than fair to ask. We have a really experienced team on board right now, and they don't, and it's not. What I don't want to do is, because if I reach out to Kevin, be like, kind of like a favor right now, and I want this to be more of like people are involved in it because they believe in it. Like we got the director, producer, and casting director on because they read the script and like, holy shit, I want to be part of this project, and because of what we're doing with the Kickstarter, of getting people involved to see how the process works. It's intriguing to people. So that's what we're doing. Okay, 51 guys. Dancing Dog 60. Kristian, when an actor gets canceled, is there a way back into the industry, or are they gone forever? Spacey, Nate Parker, Majors, Hammer. I don't think they're gone forever, because I think James Franco, is he starting to make a comeback, I think, and other people. I mean, it depends on what certain people like. I guess it depends on what he did and what people think about you in general, and who gives you that first opportunity back. Like Mel Gibson, he made it back in. There are people that make it back in. So I don't know. I guess there is a way. I have no idea. But yeah, the ones that you mentioned, Hammer's starting to try to make his way back in, doing podcasts and stuff. And I think that Majors, out of those 4 names, I feel like Majors will most likely be the one who is going to have a full-on comeback. I think he'll have a full-on comeback. It'll probably take just a little bit more, but he will. Because I think the allegations against the others were, and not that Majors wasn't serious, but the allegations against the others were I think more serious, or I don't want to take away the equal, but pretty bad. We'll say that, pretty bad. Okay, let's see. Right now, 51. That's it. All right, that's fair. I think we had a pretty damn good, pretty good run here on today's show. So thank you to all you guys for being here on the show today. Oh no, we got one more. 52. Oh, just kidding. Go pal. Just saw Sabrina Carpenter's making an Alice in Wonderland movie. Do you think she can open a film? Who's directing it? Who's writing it? How does it look in general? Are they going to go so far off that you're going to off the map that you're going to piss off the original fan base? You can't do that. They've done that so many different times. Is it a Disney Wonderland movie? Is it based off of just the original material? Like, there's too many questions to answer on that. Does she do it just on her own? No, I don't think anybody can really do that just on their own name. Nobody can really do that anymore. But who else is involved is my question. Aiden Cossack, definitely a score guy. I thought so. We'll support the show. I'm telling you, man, I really appreciated our conversation on the live chat. I thought that was it just shows you that it just shows you when people are face to face how human beings can actually speak to one another, and I appreciated it. Go pal, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Yeah, that's true. All right, thank you. You guys rule. Really appreciate everything that you did here today. It's I like these solo shows. I appreciate it. It's I don't know, it's something about it I like. So thanks again for being here. Tomorrow we'll be back with myself and Steph. I think that we're gonna have the reaction up for Killer of Killers tomorrow. Wicked will be on Friday. Saturday will be Mugen Train. And then Monday potentially could be It Chapter 2. And we'll see from there. I got I had other things. I did that already. There's other movies. What's coming out this weekend? Because I reached out to Lionsgate, but the screening was already happened for Now You See Me, and they're like, so I didn't get a chance to see it, so I'll probably just react to that when it comes out. Wicked for Good, actually. No, I'm gonna have an out of the theater reaction for that. I'm going to see that this weekend, so that I'll have on Saturday. I'll have Wicked for Good reaction this Saturday, and Zootopia 2 will be coming up soon. I'm waiting for that screening. So that'll be the end of big month for November. Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be in December, part 2, and then Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then obviously December 19th is Avatar, Fire and Ash. I'm going to watch the Avatar movies with my wife. What happened here? That was bizarre. Hold on, I want to make sure that I got everybody's comments. Okay, this is the last one. Princess Positive. $1 tier to be a background actor for a scene. I think that's a definite. Yeah, I'm doing a shot on this one too. I think that's a definite. That one will be in there too. That could be a lot of fun. I'm trying to think. There was a scene that we had initially that probably could have filled 30, 40 people in there, but now that scene's gone. But I still think there's other places to have that for sure. Absolutely, 100%. There's quite a few, and there's actually something at the end that we can make work also. And there's a thing at the very end that happens where people are like tweeting out about the events that have just happened, and not even just tweets, but like TikToks and other things too. That there could be those could actually be backers as well, like in their actual usernames, if so they wanted to. Casey Grant, I know you say over and over you want feedback. What exactly do you want to hear? I mean, it's not just feedback. It's like I said, Casey, it's a matter of like, okay, so I feel like you've said this already that you are gonna support. Maybe you didn't, but I feel like you said you were going to. But if you are like, I am, and I would really like to, if I was going to be involved, one of the things that I would really want to, see, be involved in watching how a television show gets made, like those things. This is what I would really hope is there for me and offered to me to have me invest in this thing overall. Because I want this to be our pilot. I want this to be our thing to say, like, when the story will be, like, let's say we make this thing that we want to make it. We have this team in that we want. We get the cast that we want to make. We do, and we get that story of, look, they did this. They raised this. They made this happen. They got so and so to be in this. They got so and so to be in this. They got the director of photography from this to do it. How did this happen? Well, it happened this way. This person was involved. This person's involved. And if I'm doing press on it, look, I got a thing on my live show that said we should be doing this. And we did that. And because we did that, we were able to involve the people this way. And people really wanted to make sure that they were involved and that they did it. That's the story I want to tell as far as the making of this thing. So that's kind of the feedback that I'm talking about. Let's see. I think that's it for now. Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Let me know how that Discord's working out for you. Please and thank you. There you go. Princess opened it up. So I don't know how it works. Not sure. It scares me, but that's fine. Thanks, guys. See you on the flip side. Be back here tomorrow with Steph. Thanks, everybody.